Coming up on the February 25th edition of Sports Extra, the Red Hot Heels kept the momentum going and tomahawk chopped down the Noles of Florida State.
Members of the wrestling team proved that Cameron Indoor is their house. Didn't another UNC team do the same recently?
And the baseball team played Matador against the Bulls during a rain-soaked 3-game weekend set.
All that and so much more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Speaking at just the right time. Good afternoon, I'm Jilly Kuhn.
And I'm Elena Pirtle. Thanks for joining us. Trying to maintain momentum after a huge win against Duke, the men's basketball team hosted Florida State in the Smith Center on Saturday in another important ACC matchup. The Seminoles entered the contest as the hottest team in the league, and despite FSU keeping the game close in the first half, UNC's tough defense held Florida State to just 25% shooting after halftime. The Heels were just as good offensively, and Cam Johnson led the way with 18 points and 10 rebounds. Nasir Little also had 18 on the night, including this SportsCenter top 10 poster dunk over one of FSU's 7-footers. The Heels dominated in the point, outscoring Seminoles 28-12. FSU couldn't keep up, and the Heels cruised to an easy victory, 77-59. Coach Roy Williams said he's proud of the effort his freshman star Little is putting forward.
I think that he and I had a conversation yesterday, and I'm not acting like that changed him, and he kids should get the credit for it, but just told him to focus on getting to the backboards and doing those kind of effort things, and that was big for us early in the game when he got in.
Carolina remains in a three-way tie for first in the ACC with Duke and Virginia. The Heels will host Syracuse tomorrow night. Now that the Heels have defeated two of the ACC's best in a 4-day span, including Roy Williams' 8th win against a top-ranked opponent, we've brought in basketball analyst Mallory Marks to talk about what Carolina will have to do to keep that momentum rolling. Mallory?
Thanks, Elena. I had confidence in the Heels to take down number 16 Florida State, but after coming off a huge win like Duke, you always have to worry if the players will be able to put that win behind them and refocus. Well, the boys came in focused and ready to run over the Seminoles, and I think we can say Nasir is here. Most of the Tar Heels got buckets on Saturday, but the standout, Nasir Little. He's needed some time to get used to the college atmosphere and find his rhythm, but dare I say it, he's found it. Little scored in double figures and tied for scoring honors with 18 points. But most impressive was his season-high 8 boards. I'm still feeling good about Carolina on the glass. FSU held opponents to the 4th lowest offensive rebound percentage in the league. But that statistic didn't matter to the Heels. They more than doubled the Seminoles' offensive rebounding production. So now the Heels have 4 regular season games left, the first of the 4 coming tomorrow night against Syracuse. The Orange might not be a top-ranked team, but Cuse has some bite and played a decent game against the Blue Devils on Saturday. So let's take a look at what the Heels need to do to stay on top of the ACC. I have a feeling I jinxed it. Last Monday I said Carolina was proving to be a great 3-point shooting team. Well, not so much lately, but the Heels are dominating in the paint right now. But just throwing it out there, Carolina is 12-0 when Cameron Johnson hits at least 3 from behind the arc in a game, which he did in this one. So while I'm all for keeping it strong in the paint, the boys need to get it rolling again from the perimeter. Syracuse's 2-3 zone is holding opponents to just 31.8% from behind the arc. The Heels have proved they don't have to defend on the 3, but I'd like to see more success from back there, and they're going to have to work hard for it against a team that has defended the 3 well. We have to remember that Syracuse beat Duke earlier in the season, a Duke team that included Zion Williamson. So this is not a give-me game. Carolina can't walk into the Smith Center already thinking they have it in the bag. But if UNC can play clean and is ready for the 2-3D, I'm giving this one to Carolina.
That's basketball analyst Mallory Marks. Thanks, Mallory.
Carolina is firing on all cylinders now, and as we approach the end of the regular season, it's becoming a 3-team race for the ACC regular season championship. The number 2 ranked Cavaliers, number 3 ranked Blue Devils, and number 5 Tar Heels are all tied at 12-2 for the ACC lead. Virginia owns the tiebreaker against UNC, Duke owns the tiebreaker against Virginia, and UNC currently holds the tiebreaker against Duke. But that could all change if Duke beats UNC in Chapel Hill on March 9th. Along with competing for the top of ACC, the Heels also moved into the top 5 on the AP poll after beating then number 1 ranked Duke and number 16 FSU. The Heels jumped Tennessee, Nevada, and Michigan for the top 5 spot.
The Heels wrestling team took on Duke on Friday night, looking for yet another Carolina win against that school in Durham. The Heels came into Cameron Indoor Stadium aggressive and strong. Chip Ness beat his opponent by a major decision. At 125 pounds, freshman Joe Heelman had an outstanding match, winning by technical fall. Next up, at 133 pounds, senior Wayne Harding. He moves in quickly, sees the opportunity, grabbing his opponent by the neck and pinning him. What a clean matchup for Harding. UNC defeats Duke 23-16 and claims a share of the ACC regular season dual meet title.
After a 5-hour rain delay, UNC's opening baseball game against the University of South Florida took a while to click into gear on Saturday night. But let me tell you, it was well worth the wait. Members of the grounds crew worked hard to make the game possible, and UNC junior Ashton McGee rewarded them by ripping a double into left field to set up UNC's opening run in the 3rd inning. UNC pitcher Gianluca Delatri put in his best start of the season as he threw heat for just 7 innings. UNC trailed the Bulls 2-1 heading into the 9th inning until Ike Freeman delivered for the Heels with a clutch home run to send the game to extras. Cometh the hour, cometh the man, and that man proved to be Dylan Harris, who blasted the first pitch in the 10th inning for a walk-off home run to give UNC the 3-2 win. It was UNC's first walk-off win since April of last season. In the first game of Sunday's doubleheader, the Heels started off strong with this run by Dylan Harris off a wild pitch. Just one batter after that, Ike Freeman hits this sac fly to bring in Michael Bush. South Florida wouldn't stay quiet long though. The Bulls score off this base hit by Kyle Phillips, but they just couldn't handle Carolina pitchers. The game turned into a defensive battle with starting pitcher Tyler Baum striking out 12. The Heels would hold on to get the 2-1 victory. In the second game on Sunday, USF took a 2-run lead. Though South Florida looked dominant, Ike Freeman wasn't having it when he hits this bomb all the way to the wall to score 2. This Dylan Harris's throw to home got the Heels out of a jam in the top of the 8th, and Carolina would break a 3-3 tie with this 2-run hammer by Ike Freeman in the bottom of the 8th to seal the 5-3 victory and the series sweep.
We were obviously able to get, all 3 games in, but Tyler Baum set the tone for us, this morning. I thought he was sensational. Our pitching day was spectacular all weekend, the whole series really.
The men's lacrosse team hosted Johns Hopkins on Saturday, a team that always give the Heels a tough battle. It was a solid performance by sophomore Ara Atayan with his first career hat trick. Atayan receives the ball from Justin Anderson and makes this long shot. Here's another goal. Carries the ball, leaves the defense behind, and gets the score. The Heels dominated in the second quarter, scoring 4 goals in a row. Hopkins brought back the momentum coming from behind to outscore the Heels in the 3rd quarter. In the last 14 seconds, Timmy Kelly takes the ball and finds his way in to score to put the Heels just 1 goal behind. Nevertheless, Hopkins secured the win in this nail-biter 11-10.
Jake Peden just absolutely leveled the kid and set the tone, so just the other guys really drove me all game. Just wish we got the win.
The women's team also faced a longtime rival, the Maryland Terrapins, on the Terps' home field. The Tar Heels fell 13-12. Carolina gave up 9 first-quarter goals, but rallied back with the help of Jamie Ortega and Gian Bo, scoring 3 goals each, tying the game at half. Neither team could score in the second half, forcing OT. Carolina lost 3 players due to 2 yellow cards and a green card for too many players on the field. Maryland scored with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in OT to hand the Tar Heels their first loss of the season. The Heels are back in action on Saturday at noon against Northwestern. It will be the debut of the new soccer and lacrosse stadium.
What do fencing, swimming, and track and field have in common?
All 3 teams competed in the ACC championships. Stay tuned to find out how they did.
All right, crew, let's get started. Kurt?
Yeah,
Bruh. I want you to know, I worked.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
The gymnastics team faced New Hampshire Friday night during the Heels senior night. Junior Kazia Hislop had a fantastic performance, placing second with a 9.785 on vault. In the uneven bars event, Riley Dewhurst flips and sticks her landing to tie for second with a 9.825. The Heels ended the night strong by scoring their highest floor score since last year's Eagle Championship. Hislop matched her career high and placed first with a 9.950, but it wasn't enough as UNC loses by about 7/10.
The UNC men's and women's fencing teams look to recapture their tournament magic from last season as they opened up play for the ACC Championships on Saturday in Massachusetts. Play began in the morning with the women's individual bouts, and who needs coffee when you can watch UNC junior Jackie Latinsky? Despite coming up with a bloody hand, Latinsky earned a second-place finish in saber after falling in the final to Notre Dame's Kara Linder. The UNC men began the afternoon team competitions with a loss to arch rivals Duke, and then proceeded to get routed by eventual champion Notre Dame. The Heels would bounce back in their final match with a win against Boston College. On the next day, UNC women's fencing put in a solid performance in the team competition, finishing in third place. But the highlight of the day came fast and early for the Heels as senior Matthew Gerlich closed out his ACC career in style with a silver medal in saber. Gerlich fell to Notre Dame's Malcolm Fields in the final, but his impressive performance wouldn't be UNC's last piece of silverware. Sophomore Joe Taylor joined Gerlich on the podium with a bronze in épée. 3 fencers medaled for UNC at Chestnut Hill.
UNC's track and field team spent this weekend competing in the ACC Indoor Championships, and many of the Tar Heels came home with ACC accolades. On day 2, sophomore Anna Kiefer set a lifetime best in the long jump with a remarkable distance of 6.26 meters, earning another first-team All-ACC honor. After winning a protest to overturn a third foul, senior Anna Keaton capitalized on her second chance by setting a personal record of 4.18 meters in the women's indoor pole vault. The Tar Heels' momentum carried over into day 3. Redshirt sophomore Danielle MacArthur won the AC title in the men's shot put with a distance of 16.6 meters, winning by nearly 4.5 feet. Once again, the men's 4x4 lineup of Brandon Cachone, Ryan St. Germain, Jordan Johnson, and Isaiah Palmer had an amazing day on the track, finishing third with a time of 3 minutes and 12/500ths of a second for second team All-ACC.
On the final day of the swim and dive ACC meet, freshman Emily Grund captured the Heels' only All-ACC honors when she finished second in the platform diving with a personal best of 242.15 points. The Heels would end with a 7th place finish overall.
UNC's women's basketball played host to number 9 NC State on Sunday, as the Heels had one last chance to grab a quality home win during their regular season. Harris Key balled out for her final home game, scoring 32 points in a full 40 minutes. Here, Key cuts deep into the heart of the Wolfpack defense and finishes with a skilled shot to get the bucket. Pack guard Kiara Leslie put the team on her back in the second half, making huge shots down the stretch and stealing a pass that ended the Tar Heels' chance of a comeback. Carolina falls to NC State 74-69. Coach Sylvia Hatchell had only good things to say about her star senior in her last home game.
Special. And she's great with the ball in her hands, and you know she can take it in there. Lots of good things about Harris.
The Heels will play their final game of the season Sunday against Duke.
The softball team traveled to California to take part in the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic this weekend, hoping to stay above 500. On day one, UNC lost to 20th-ranked Oklahoma State 7-5. It was ACC co-pitcher of the week Brittany Pickett's first loss this season. In the second game, Carolina fell to Kentucky 1-0 in a rain-shortened affair. The umpires called the game after 5 innings after the Wildcats scored the game's lone run in the second inning. UNC tackled Utah on Friday afternoon. The Heels got the win 7-2. Freshman Hannah George picked up her first win of the season with a season-high 5 strikeouts. In Game 2, the Heels fell to New Mexico State 6-2. The Aggies plated 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th to close out the contest. And in Game 3, the Heels fell again, this time to Long Beach State 8-4. Carolina led 4-3 through 5 innings, but Long Beach went on a run to take the victory. With the loss, Carolina drops to 6-7 on the season.
Looking to continue its hot start to the season, the second-ranked women's tennis team took a road trip north this weekend. Carolina opened up ACC play with a dub, getting a 5-2 win at Boston College. Alexa Graham led the Heels by winning both her doubles and singles matches, improving to 20-3 overall this season. On Sunday, the Heels traveled to Ann Arbor to face Michigan. Tar Heels took down the Wolverines 5-2. Senior Jessie Annie quickly decided the match in straight sets, 6-0, 6-3. The Heels improved their record 13-1. Carolina will be back in action on Wednesday versus NC State. So, Elena, did you score tickets to the game tomorrow?
I did not. The student ticket lottery has it out for me, but I am going with a friend. Are you going?
No, I'm not, unfortunately. I'll be watching from home. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.